Chapter 6, How to Quickly Avoid Number 1 Area Passive Investors with 401k and or retirement income make. This is one of the number ones. So how do I quickly avoid this number 1 area passive investors with 401k and or retirement income make? Number one, I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to give you 3 tips. I took notes, and you should take notes on this. Make sure you apply this, especially when you're new. There's a lot of people that are shady people or whatever. They don't care, including investors, real estate investors. If you see my video on Instagram, if it's still up, I'll show you an example of a document that I used from a. She was an investor, but I took an example. I took a risk on her, which I placed a document where she could never run for me. She couldn't sell a property anytime anymore because I put a lien. I put a clouded the title, as we say, a cloud title. I used a document, affidavit memorandum they call it before. I used that where that person, I ended up making more than was agreed. It just took a longer time than we had before. But that's an example. Always, and we went through the title company. I made public information too. But this is why I stress number one. Make sure you do not, I said it a third time, do not close at a kitchen table with the person. I don't care how much you trust that person. And do not close at a Starbucks when you're doing a real estate deal, any type of deal, okay? So close with an attorney, title company, along with get your required documents, which normally, if you're doing this as a lender, as I said before, you have 401ks. If you have 401ks and you want to learn how to do financial freedom with 401ks and retirement income, the average at the time of this reading, the time of me creating this book, is 183,000 to 200,000. They just say roughly 200,000 is the average amount that one has in their 401k and or retirement. That's the average. So I'm going to give you an example. Out of that 183, let's round that off to 200,000. So if you have 200,000 and you're retiring, normally it lasts for 10 years, or either the average you're gonna die at that time. So out of that $200,000, normally you're taking out 4% for that year that you're living off, where it exhausts to that 10 years. So 4% times 200,000 is what, $8,000 for the year that you taking out each year for 10 years to add to the amount. That's including inflation. So I'm just giving you examples of that, okay? These are the examples. I have a template, a formula. I just want the purpose of this is to motivate you, teach you something, and share a perspective. That's the purpose of this book. That's the purpose of this chapter, and that's the purpose of these previous. So my purpose is I will tie these 3 methods, as I said before, just to create and motivate you and teach you something and share a perspective that'll get you going. Because if you want to get the same, keep doing the same thing if you want the same results. But most people that's reading this, you're tired of that 401k. They're tired of their stocks going up and down instantly compared to real estate. Real estate is something you can touch, see, and smell. You can go there and actually do that. But the way it's structured, where I teach in this booklet, is you act as the bank, act as the wealthy. Own notes, create notes, hold that paper. Here's an example that I'm showing you, and I will continue with this chapter, but I just want to prove a point. I want to teach you something. Are you familiar with buying a car? When you buy a car and you go to the dealership, the salesman asks, how would you like to purchase this car? This car is selling for $10,000. There's 2 methods that someone would get that car. They either pay cash or they agree to terms. When they agree to terms, they're putting 10% down, and they're going to do a term of the finance. They're going to finance with a term. So they're going to put $1,000 down, and they're going to finance $9,000, where they're going to pay a monthly note, which is called a term. So they may pay a term If it's 36 months, 5 years, 6 years. 36 months, 60 months, 72 months. And they're paying it in the form of a note. So if they pay the 60-month term notes, once they pay off that note of those monthly terms and they pay off that amount that they're financed, they're going to receive a piece of paper which is strong, which for example, if you use a dollar, you will see that the terms on the dollar, same process also. You will see that note on there. You can look on the note, you can look on there. This note is a legal tender for all the debts, public and private. You'll see an example. Same process on when they pay off that car note, they will receive a title showing that they have ownership of that vehicle. Same process for a home, a house. When you get a loan on a house, the collateral for the loan on a house is the same process as the collateral for a loan on a car. When you buy a car, when the Bank of America or any bank, reputable bank, gives a loan for you to purchase that $10,000 vehicle, where they see that you have $1,000 down and they'll give you $9,000, their security is the vehicle. The collateral is the vehicle, where now they're charging monthly payments where they have an interest payment on top of the principal. So if the principal payment is $9,000, they may charge that. I'll give you an example, just doing interest payments on there. 10%, 10 to 15%. I'm just giving you an example though. They're making their interest. So if if they're charging $990, I'm just giving you an example. $90 is their interest, their profit margin on there of that principal. Part of that principal goes down in terms. So at the end of that 60-year term, a 60-month term of that vehicle, they're going to exchange you a title showing that you own that vehicle. Same process with a home. On a home, you put $10,000 down on a note on a home, $10,000 down to purchase a house valued at $100,000, which your bank get financed $90,000 because they gave a loan to you for $90,000, where that house is collateral for this loan of $90,000, where now you're paying a mortgage note for a term, 10, 15, 30-year term, which is structured where at the end, and it's agreed on again too, this note, which is a deed of trust. Deed of trust on there. The deed of trust also shows where you have an agreement, and the agreement amount where you create a promissory note. A promissory note is agreed between you and the buyer, you, the private lender of that money of the four. I want you to understand that you, the private lender, have an agreement that when you purchase the property, you will structure a note that they owe you a monthly payment of a term. When they pay off that note of the loan that you agreed to give them, create to them, they will receive what? A deed, a title. It's in their hands now. That is free and clear. But in the meantime, it's public information and structured that you're holding, or it's held that now you gave a loan on this property, where now you have a promissory note, where you have an agreement that any time that they don't pay that note to you, the investor, whoever's fixing up that property, you have the right to foreclose and take that property back because they voided the loan. That's an example. I'm just giving you simple verses, but I wanted to stress that you don't want to do this at a kitchen table. Some people have done that. I'm just giving you an example why you will want to go to an attorney, title company, law firm, real estate attorney. Rule of thumb, where they're going to give you the appraisal, which the rule of thumb is 70 to 80% LTV, loan to value. If the house is worth 100,000, the max you as the private lender would give is 70 to $85,000, because you want to make money. You want to see some type of cushion in the deal. As we said before, you make money on the buy. That's the key. Okay? So, next process is when, as I said, I want to teach you, you want to have a mentor. Make sure you have a mentor, or you're a part of a REIA, Real Estate Investment Association, where you have like-minded, or you're going to be with people you like, know, and trust that's going to educate you, or you're going to network to learn these types of deals that are out there in your area. Those are types of deals that you can also do worldwide. That's another purpose. That's another structure. This is another structure I'm showing you. If you're reading this chapter or if you're listening in, that's the structure, okay? So, chapter 6, number one error. Do not close at a kitchen table. Do not close at a Starbucks. Close at an attorney, title company, or escrow company. Along with make sure, which they're going to make sure too, how it's structured. Make sure you get your required documents. The appraisal, which the formula is 100%, 100% is 70 to 85% LTV. For example, if the house is valued at $100,000, you do the maximum of 70 to 85%, you as a lender, and you have an agreement on what points you charge, upfront points, which I explain that too. I'm just giving you the basics to motivate, teach you, and share perspective. You have the points, and you're going to receive a monthly payment, normally short term, 4 to 6 months. Here's number 3, another tip. When you have I advise you to start with short term. Do not start with long term. Have a few short term. When I say a short term lending that you have, get with realtors or get with investors that have properties that they want to fix and rehab, where the normal fix and rehab may take 4 to 6 months, compared to you getting with investors that want to get a loan where they want to fix up the property and rental. You're gonna based on the type of people that's reading this book, you only have 183,000 to 200,000, where your goal is to grow your income quickly and bulk and wide as possible. Quickly as possible, compared to if you have income that's coming in your real estate as a retirement, you have retirement income coming in. Yes, I advise is that a good term is long term, where now you will buy the house and charge them a competitive interest rate as a private lender, where they have a term of 12 to 3, maybe 3 to 5 year term. That's an example. A long term where they want to rent out the property, okay? And you're the private lender of that. So that's the example of how to quickly avoid number 1, which is, as I said before, do not close at a kitchen table or any Starbucks. Close at a real estate attorney's title company, okay? So thanks for reading, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on chapter 7.